I just wanted to be sure. And actually, are you seeing my Zoom windows right now? That's one thing I realized I didn't ask. Great.
We are only seeing your, it looks like your,
My desktop. Great.
yeah, I think it's your
All right.
desktop. Yes, we see
Wonderful.
your tabs open, but it looks like you're, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. Well, I appreciate everyone joining today. Unfortunately, Gia wasn't able to join us for a family emergency, but I am Cameron Holmes. I work on the same team as Gia. Importers and producers on 750 are really the group that we focus on entirely. So really helping them to leverage the huge marketplace that we built already over the last 10 years. New York was 750's first state, actually, as a couple of folks who were in the drinks trade in New York City started 750. Someone who'd been working as a sommelier and a beverage director, Aaron Sherman, also did so in California before returning to New York, and Gianfranco Verga is the two founders of the company. Gianfranco was working at Domain Select on the import side for a number of years before putting together something that they thought was really going to improve how the trade works with one another. And I would say from my own personal experience, having been a buyer in New York City, used to purchase for bars and restaurants in Brooklyn particularly, but also worked in Manhattan. This has become really the most essential resource for trade folks looking to make new purchasing decisions because it is an aggregate marketplace. 750 is really our core business, is an aggregate marketplace. Makes it as easy as possible for a trade buyer to find out who distributes particular products in their market and how they can get their hands on some. So we're going to take a dive into the platform itself, look at how buyers use 750 before looking at how distributor sales reps and finally importers and producers use 750. So wineries in particular have a separate access point where they can really dig into the details, start to manage content that's already on 750 for your products, and really just get a lot more insight and access that will hopefully help you, sell more wine more efficiently. So at this point, there are, as Victoria said, more than 1,000 distributor portfolios listed on 750. We're active in 46 states, Washington, D.C., and Ontario. That's a distributor by distributor relationship that helped us to get there. So really the core of 750's business is this marketplace where I'm right now signed in as a buyer in Manhattan. Really every single distributor portfolio that appears on 750 is part of a partnership where 750 is actually receiving data from the distributor, and that's what we see here on the left about their portfolios. And that's typically a push. They're sending us information out of their back-end system that has really inventory, pricing, case size for their whole book. So it's probably the same information you're seeing in a depletion report or an invoice. We are totally transforming that into a complete product record, and really has made 750 as an official resource for the trade. So that whenever they're looking for a particular category or a specific brand, whatever it might be, they can really start to refine their search results in this way that has been heavily researched. So we use a label, an image of a label as the source of truth for describing products. And this is something that we probably are starting with information from the TTB. So when a proof is submitted to the TTB for a particular product, and apologies, my internet's going a little slow here, or the loading of the page. We're probably pulling that image before we start filling in the rest of the information for a particular product. So, excuse me, we'll just make sure that my screen sharing is working here with the search results coming up the way we expect. There we are. So the first thing to know is really that 750 already has information on your products, and it's not something that's coming from distributors except for pricing and inventory. It's really a product record that our data team has created for every single product on the 750 marketplace. And so, it makes it much more reliable when buyers are looking for information on not just, who carries a product, where they can order it, but they're going to find standardized information about products such that they can search by region. So I'm looking now for wine in New York as a Manhattan buyer. I could look across distributor portfolios here, and these are the number of SKUs that match the search that I've set up so far, and really dive in a lot further on anything that I'm interested in. And I can refine this more if I like. I can go by subregion, I can go by appellation, by raw material. I mean, this is really the power of having a standardized framework for the trade to use. And it is the reason that we have transacted more than $1 billion in orders over the last year, just to be able to make it so much easier for buyers to procure products across a range of distributors. And that's why they come to 750. It's why I used it. I managed ordering across 15 or 20 different distributors, and my revenue at the establishments I was managing was just over 7 figures. So I mean, it's enormously complex on the buying side to try to figure out who carries products, especially if they change hands, and it just becomes so much easier to be able to manage that across all of your different partners just by having access to 750. So you should know too that anybody who has access to 750 has been verified with a liquor license on the buying side. They do use it for free. So the bulk of our business is actually from those distributor subscriptions, though we do some business through importer and producer subscriptions and advertising on 750, which you can see at the top here. This is an advertisement on the 750 marketplace where someone definitely has taken control over image, the title, the body copy, and the call to action on this page. So in terms of how buyers interact with this, once they find something they're interested in learning more about, they can really just click into any one of these producers to learn more about it. Maybe there's something coming up here that I want to read a bit more about. And I know Buttonwood Grove Winery is a subscriber to 750. They actually list products themselves in some places, just a few counties in upstate New York where they self-distribute. And so we do have the power to break up what buyers see according to what distributor actually services their account. And then they can actually upload trade assets to 750 if they like. And actually, it's just a shortcut right to more information about the brand and about individual SKUs on 750. So just to click into one of these listings here, the Cabernet Franc, this 2018, if I click into the product here, it will actually show me more details, a description of the product, a larger version of that image we are looking at, and just reveal a lot more about what has been controlled at this point by the winery itself. So this breakdown at the top probably came from 750's data team. This can be corrected by an importer or producer after they've been verified as a member of the trade and someone who does represent these products. But then you can actually change the image, change the description, suggest corrections to the ABV, the grape, maybe if there's a blend, let's say. You just really want to make sure this is looking absolutely tight and tidy. And that's because really this is the low-hanging fruit. You already have an audience of distributors here in New York alone. There's about 15,000 on and off premise retailers across the country. It's about 120,000 who have access with a liquor license. So this is the largest verified trade audience of its kind. And they're here looking for information on products that might be replacing an option on their buy the glass selection if something's out of stock, or if they're doing a menu change or changing over their inventory for a new season. Maybe they're looking for something in the $40 to $50 frontline price range. It really just gives them this tremendous insight across many portfolios. And so having a strong presence here can really be the difference between someone taking that next step to ask a rep, hey, can I taste this product? Because they can actually message them right through 750. They might be able to even fill out an account application here and start working with a rep directly through 750. So what does it mean to really start taking advantage of 750 and doing more with it? Well, really that means having your own account on 750. And it is free to get started for importers and producers. And we actually give you quite a bit of insight for free, which is a way for you to actually access every market on 750. So when you sign up for free, you immediately can get access to every distributor portfolio and all of the prices that are visible to buyers across the US. So especially if you've got complex distribution, and in fact, we'll go back to New York just for the sake of this example, you certainly can start to delve into what your portfolio across different distributors, competitive products potentially. And if you actually subscribe to the paid version of 750, which is $150 a month, you also can view prices. So just as an example, we'll look again at a New York distributor, but you can start seeing, especially in New York, where it's a price posting state, all of the quantity discounts available and whether or not a product is verified in stock if a distributor is providing that information. But for your own portfolio, your own products, you do get a shortcut right to more information about them. So in this case, I've added the Weimer brand to my account just to show you folks how this works. But I can see my pricing in Skurnick's portfolio here in New York. If I switch to another market, it's automatically going to pull up the pricing that's relevant to that place as well, and the vintages that are available. And forgive me, I'm going to remove Skurnick from the filter here. And there we are with Horizon instead. So really, we're able to show trade buyers just the information available to them in a specific market. This is also something that's used by distributor sales reps when they are in the field. Like if they are going door to door, making those sales calls, you might have even seen a sell sheet if you've done a work with or a ride with, but you're able to actually edit the image and edit the description that not only populates this online version of your products, it also populates something like a sell sheet. So this is one of the most common uses of 750 for distributor reps. It's actually a way to put together a list of products that they can share with an account. So it includes an image of the product, a description, as well as all of the technical details and pricing. So they can do this with just a few clicks because it's already here on 750. It's been potentially corrected by the producer. This is a real subscriber growing Italian varietals in Australia, but they have some great colorful labels. And they're really taking full advantage of the platform to try to get more attention for their products just by having the best possible content out there. So really what we're talking about is all the same things that importers and producers have traditionally done in the three-tier system. It's control over branding, so making sure that your products are represented well, accurately, with relevant and recent information. It is sales enablement, so ensuring that all of the trade, both distributor reps and potential buyers, are able to readily share information and access good information about your products. And it's also demand generation. So being able to actually put more information out here about your products, you can share this offline. You can even promote to people on the 750 marketplace, like that ad we looked at just a moment ago. And really, we're taking this to the next level. So we just rolled out features in the beginning of August that allow you to have a lot more control over the look and feel of your products. And so I'd just like to show you an example of what that is now. So we've really, after creating this fantastic audience that's been 10 years in the making,
Cameron, it looks like we actually lost it
and I would
for
say,
a second.
Oh yeah.
I think you might have paused for a second, sorry. So you
Oh,
might want to
thank you.
repeat the last 30 seconds or so.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. Forgive me, I'm in my wife's office today, and it looks like my internet might be a little unstable. So please let me know if I do cut out again. Feel free to drop something in the chat. Maybe that'll load a little faster for me. But really, we're just talking about something here that is a new feature on 750. This is what we call a marketplace sending content generation and demand generation as well. This is an opportunity to really personalize an e-commerce experience. So this is something put together by a brand. It's included in the $150 a month subscription called Portfolio Manager that is offered to producers. And Care Cellars has put together a pretty comprehensive overview of their wines. So this is a search on 750 for specific products available in whatever market the buyer's in. In this case, it's not actually available in Massachusetts. So they're actually not seeing pricing, but if it was being viewed from New York or California, this actually will pull up the locally available pricing in that state. So we're smart enough to know who the distributor is, but really gives this more dynamic experience of seeing exactly where these products are verified in stock and really connecting trade buyers with potential distributor rep purchases. But they've gone beyond that. This is really looking at the winemaker and the owner, and then we also have an option to actually connect to their own website. So this is where they're linking offline or offsite, I should say, to their own domain and really controlling the experience from there. So this is the first, we've talked a lot about direct to consumer as being important to trade. This might be something you think of as direct to retailer, because it's really the first time you've had an opportunity to get directly in front of retail buyers, and also make sure that distributor reps in the very same stroke are getting the best information. And that might be trade assets of whatever you'd like to share. It could be lifestyle shots, tech sheets, shelf talkers, that can all actually live on 750. And really it's truncating the workflow, trying to make it as fast as possible for you to be able to share information with not just a portfolio manager at a distributor who you're hoping will pass things on to their reps, but putting it in front of the whole team at once, and also to the trade buyers who might use these materials to sell your products through to the end consumer or educate their staff on how to do so. So marketplace storefronts are definitely one of the latest and greatest features, but Very importantly, they do link back to the marketplace. So if a trade buyer wants to find out how to purchase your products, and in fact, we'll load this as a trade buyer so we can look at that. All they have to do is click that view portfolio button or view products, and they'll be able to see how to order those products in their market. They can actually transact right from the screen. And as you can see, the demand generation piece, this ad at the top, this is one of the ways to go from being one of many wines on 750, which is very important if you want to improve your discoverability. I mean, if you think about where folks really learn about new products, there is, of course, the rep talking about the products and bringing them out to share. It's learning about it from the winery themselves. But very importantly, buyers are constantly evaluating everyone else's selections. They're going into a wine shop or a grocery store, or they're going into another bar or a restaurant. They're seeing things, they're tasting things. And one of the first things that they're probably going to do, which is exactly what I did, if they don't know enough about something and they want to know more, they'll look it up on 750. They pull out their phone, just do a search for the product and find out who carries it, how much it costs, maybe even add it to a shopping cart that they can look at later, or a list that they can save for a future date. So it's an important part of decision-making, research, procurement, really along every step of that funnel towards that final conversion where someone's actually checking out online. Or they might even call their rep. So, but if you're thinking about how to get more exposure in the digital channel, if you're not really dependent on those IRL, in real life, very expensive, very time-consuming ways to get your products in front of people, there is an ad space on 750. And this is something that, for subscribers to Portfolio Manager, the producer platform on 750, if you subscribe for a year, we do give discounts on ads, which start at $2,700 for really a 1-month national ad. And they are further discounted from there. But that's exactly what this ad is. Rebellious wine sellers, we actually can click to the landing page on their ad, and will bring us to exactly how to purchase that product in a given market. And even a link to more assets in this brand profile here. So if you think about the time it takes to knock on 30,000 doors, which is how much an ad credit is worth, it does really allow you to get 30,000 ads in front of a verified trade audience, much less allow them to take a next step. Really, this is one of the things that we think is most valuable about 750 is, not everybody is going to transact through our site. At the end of the day, they might call their rep if they have more questions. They want to make sure that this wine is going to be available in the future. So if they give it a placement, they're going to have reliable inventory. It's just complex when you get into, how folks decide what products to bring in. But at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to really make sure that folks can see your products, know how to order them, and learn more about them in this space that's dedicated to them.
Cameron, can I ask a quick question?
Please.
Are ads served up based on search criteria?
Yeah, so we do have key value targeting implemented now, which allows us to target any of the facets that you're interested in on the left-hand side of 750's search. So that includes region. It could be New York. It could be a particular grape. It could be a price point. Really, anything that you're looking at over here, we can target in terms of advertising. So because it is a verified trade audience, it's much smaller than a consumer audience. We don't have unlimited impressions to sell. We don't give total ownership over a keyword. We also don't let people buy competitive brand names.
Okay.
And that's in part just to make sure that we are able to offer up maybe a more democratic way of promoting products on 750. But also any search that you give on 750 or any search performed is by a trade buyer, and so we are going to serve most of those ads just to anyone searching untargeted.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Certainly. Yeah, we can also target geographically, I should say. So if you only have distribution in certain states, we can really target buyers in those areas, and also by channel. So if you have something that you think is really well positioned for the on-premise, as an example, we can just target on-premise liquor licenses.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. I appreciate it.
Certainly. So that is also, that's one aspect of really the promotion arm of 750. We do also have a fantastic publication, 750 Daily, which we've worked with the New York Wine Grape Foundation before. There's this fantastic hub, which is, you might think of it as an evergreen resource. You can really just copy this URL and use it on your own websites already. And this is a great way to put folks in touch with wines from New York and among these different categories available in their local market. So this is focused on wines from New York, but a buyer in any region using the platform would be able to dive in on a specific selection. So this is something we put together with the New York Wine Grape Foundation. And as a promotional piece, we do have more promotional pieces like sponsored content available to brands as well. So this brought us right to a search for sparkling wine from New York. And any place that a buyer accesses this from, let's say that's a grocery chain in Massachusetts, maybe they've also got locations in Georgia. And really any grocery chain you can think of has buyers using 750. They're going to be able to pull up the results that are relevant to their specific market. But the other pieces that we have on daily include things like this. This is a longer form regional guide, but we also have pieces that are specific to brands that are promoted through 750 Marketplace, newsletters, and through targeted social media ads. Those are in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, where we really pair a writer with you to work on your marketing message, translate it for our trade audience in a message that we think will resonate, and really get that out there. Always on 750 Daily, it'll live there forever, but then also promoted probably over the course of 3 months throughout our various channels.
Cameron, another quick question. If we do have some producers who did want to do something for their brand, is that easily connectable back to our hub in some way for the state?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think we'd be able to probably update that page at some point. I'll have to probably connect with the team that focuses on 750 Daily just to make sure that that is the case. But I'm certain we can do something to include more of those profiles on that hub.
Great. Awesome. I don't know if you saw the question come in through the Q&A tool, just about how, looks like it's Amy or Ame. Sorry, Amy. I think we're looking at verification. So if someone wanted to log in and verify the information for their winery, what is the process for that?
Oh yeah, so if you just go to 750.com and sign up for the importer and producer account, they will say, thanks for signing up. We'll send you an email when you've been verified. And it really is that simple. We might request more information. Probably all we're gonna look for from you actually is a URL for your email that matches the winery. And that's gonna be how you get access here. So you can just put in your email right on this page at the top. You could actually get more information first if you wanna see which subscription might be right for you by scrolling down to this Learn More page. So this actually does not include the most recent feature, that Marketplace Storefront homepage with the personalization. It's not shown here, but it is one of the things that's included with the Portfolio Manager plan. There are some great examples here of another importer that's using 750, a video. So there's a lot of resources here. I would definitely recommend just going to 750.com and signing up for free. But there's a lot of resources for exploring on your own, even a plan comparison here. And of course, once you get started, there are training resources that are emailed to you. They're always accessible to you from the training resources page here. So this has a lot of step-by-step information on how to get the most out of the platform, as well as instructions on how to build one of those beautiful looking marketplace storefronts. So I think we've talked a lot about the value and the benefits of using 750. Just to highlight a couple of key features that tend to get folks pretty excited. One of the things that we do when you claim your brands on 750, we do ask you to first, under my company, add the brands that belong to you so we can verify that you should have more control over editing them. We do put together really this national overview, so a way to govern content across the whole country at once for your products. So as you can see here, this is pricing across the country frontline for the brands in my portfolio. And then there's an easy way to access more information and actually edit details by clicking in on that listing right here. So this is how I got to the page to edit information across the whole country at once, making sure those distributors have the same consistent information. And it will actually affect multiple distributors just by making these changes. So for anybody who's had trouble tracking their pricing across the country, which I can imagine everybody's had, at one point or another, this is a huge leg up because generally we're getting information on a daily basis from distributors about their pricing. And the information we're displaying here is probably the same that their reps have access to internally, because it is coming from their warehouse software or their accounting software typically. So I think that's really the ground I wanted to cover today. Are there questions about using 750? I know we had a great one already, but that chat or the Q&A section, if you have anything you'd like to include, I'd be happy to answer.
And if people would like to chat, just click on the raise hand tool at the bottom of the toolbar, and I can unmute you and you guys can chat with Cameron. Well, not seeing other questions come in at the moment, Cameron. I really appreciate you hosting this and jumping on last minute. It's been extremely informative. And I think if people have some questions, I think we did pop your email in to the top of the chat bar, but we can do that again. And you don't mind folks reaching back out to you directly with their specific questions? Awesome.
Yes, please do. No, we'd be happy to connect with anybody. And if I can't answer it, I certainly will find somebody who can. Just one other thing I thought to show you, because this was a great looking example. This is a non-alcoholic producer, but this marketplace storefront has really become one of the focal points for producers making use of 750, whether that's links to YouTube, to places to purchase individual products or product lines, introduce a face of the brand, whatever it might be. This really can be as personalized as you'd like it to be.
So here's one last question, and maybe this is obvious. I mean, should you be expecting that your distributor is doing this, or should the winery staff team be doing this?
That's a great question. Yeah, really, this is definitely something for importers and producers. Distributors, as you probably know, historically have had trouble keeping up with information across their portfolios. So really the only information we're using from them is the inventory and pricing information for products, and then the naming or any other content we're really only using to match to a record in 750 that our team has put together. So the 750 team has probably put together a product description for your brand based on something that was probably submitted to the TTB. So chances are, if you've introduced new vintages of a product, it may need a little refreshing. It's probably going to be a huge leg up over what your distributor would have put together, but right. It's also going to be something that you have control over. And I would not expect your distributor to have taken control over this for you.
Gotcha. Good to know. So the power is in our hands, you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No,
okay.
Thank you. And I appreciate you calling that out. It's really, for the first time, giving control over content directly to the producers and the manufacturers of these products. Because the one who's most invested in having the best information out there. Ultimately, you are the source of truth for information about your products. And the easiest thing you can do to start improving those organic incremental sales is just to make sure that when the trade's looking for your content, that they're going to find the right information. And this is one of the primary resources for folks who are moving cases and pallets potentially. If you're thinking about a new placement, it's a new point of distribution. This is someone who can sell to many, many consumers. And it's not just moving a few bottles to a consumer directly.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, really powerful tool. And yeah, good point, Ame. So it's not just like new vintages or new, stock when things go out of stock, right? It's hard to keep that updated when something's not available too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Activate.
I see your question there. When items do go out of stock, your distributor is the best person to talk to about if something is available, because they do have a few options. They can say, available, out of stock, coming soon. There's a few different things. So that is maybe a distributor specific question. So if there's one item that you're not seeing, if you're on 750 you think should be there, I'd encourage you to reach out to the distributor.
Well, thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, Cameron. And I'm sure we're going to have many folks in touch with you in the near future to get started on this. So yeah, any questions, feel free to email Cameron and we will all be in touch again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, Victoria. Appreciate you having me.
Our pleasure. Bye. Take care.